All right, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it'll never happen to me. Well, guess what? It happened to me. It wasn't even anything dramatic like a barroom brawl, road rage incident, or automobile accident. It happened on a Friday evening. I was eating chicken and bread, and my wife was eating barbecue. It sure was delicious. So I'm eating, and all of a sudden I noticed this gap in my mouth. I had broken and swallowed the darn tooth and never saw it again. I was in a jam. I had portraits and weddings coming up. In fact, 2 days after I broke the tooth, I got a call for a family portrait, but luckily was able to schedule it the following weekend. So I didn't want to be toothless, at least yet anyway. So I did research for self tooth replacement to see if I can do some kind of an implant or what options were available before I called my dentist. And I found this company called Temp, and after reading their reviews from many extremely happy customers, I decided to order, although my wife was really skeptical. Now, I'm not affiliated or have received any payment from Temp, or at least haven't yet. But feel free to send me a large PayPal payment if you like. With that said, let me show you how I solved my problem and hope it can help you should you ever lose a front tooth that you want to replace quickly and economically. I ordered the package on a Sunday evening and it came on a Wednesday, so they had pretty fast delivery. And when you open the package, you're going to see a little container of beads. And it also comes with some very detailed instructions that were very helpful. In my case here, I put this in a microwave for 1 minute, and we're going to take a kitchen thermometer here. The instructions say not to use it above 150. So this cools down pretty fast actually. Okay, so we got 11 beads. Now I found that once you put them in the water, they sort of scatter. So I'm going to start by just putting them on a little spoon here. And then, because once they get warm, they stick together. So instead of trying to hunt for them in the hot water, okay, you can see they're sticking together pretty good now. So they're one unit. So what I'm going to do is, though, I'm going to heat the water back up a little bit more because I think it cooled down considerably. So let me put it back in, heat it up for another few seconds. Okay, so I heated it up for another about 14 seconds, and as you can see, they're sticking together. So now I'm going to put it back in the hot water. And one thing about these crystals, or I guess you would call them beads, is that they're white, and then once they get hot, they start to turn clear. So once they're clear, they're pretty hot. So they're, I don't know if you can see, but they're starting to get clear now. Okay, so it soaked for maybe a couple of minutes, and as you can see, they're all stuck together, and it's very, very pliable right now, easy to work with. Okay, so it's very soft. Yeah. There it is. As you can see, I put this in there, and then it had some left over, about maybe a 1/4 inch or so, and I just bent that back. And behind the tooth, I sort of made like a little flipper And that's going to be used to help hold the tooth in place. Okay, it's pretty clear. On one of the teeth that I made, I used dental floss, like you see here, just to put a little space in the teeth. There. Okay. Now some people say, well, the instructions say not to keep it in too long, so it hardens and it might cause you problems. So I took it out, and now it's going to cool off, and then when it cools off, it turns white, just like the beads, and then more than likely, well, in my case, it's way too white. So what you do then is you dip it into tea. So it depends, maybe, well, it depends if you use warm tea or cold tea. If you use cold tea, it's going to take a while. So you want to just do this, just play it by ear. So, but right now we're just letting the tooth cool. Let's put it under cold water. However, we're going to make sure that we have our stopper and the sink closed in case you drop it. All your work goes down the drain. The tools that I used to shape the tooth was a nail clipper. Sometimes you can just clip off little edges here that are too big. Or you can also use a small scissors here as well. And of course you might want to get a nail file here so you can just soften this and just fine-tune the edges on here. This is a great procedure to do if you can't get in and see your dentist right away. And I have an appointment actually this afternoon. So I wanted to show you how easy this is, in case you have emergency situations, because I have portraits scheduled and weddings and stuff. So being without a tooth, it's not good, to me anyway. But, so let's go stain this. See how that looks. And really simple, isn't it? In my case, the tooth was too white, so I'm brewing a tea bag for a couple of minutes, and then after that's done, we're going to drop the tooth into it. I use the tea at room temperature. Now, I've read that some people use hot tea or warm tea, and it's probably going to work a little bit faster, but I use mine at room temperature for several hours, maybe 5, 6, 7 hours. So I just took the tooth, dropped it into the tea. You might want to take it out and check it several times to make sure it's not turning too dark on you, but you're going to have to fit it back into your mouth and compare it to the other teeth. Okay, we stained this in tea. Actually, I use cold tea for several hours, and let's see how this fits. And as you can see, it's a pretty close match, and I might be able to stain it a little bit more, but it's a really good match, and this is great for an emergency situation. So if you need a temp tooth, this is ideal in case you have to meet with people or you're doing any kind of job that you're working with the public. So I'm really happy with my temp tooth, and this is going to do until I go visit my dentist this afternoon. So thank you very much.